Hi, thanks for having me. I'm good actually. This is my first radio show, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, it's nice. We're all relaxed. It's all nice and chill.
It is a very relaxed environment, so thank
Good.
you.
So the first question is just if you could just explain a little bit more in depth about what your organisation is and kind of the sort of work that you do.
Yep, okay, great. Well, LGBTQ Wellness obviously caters to the LGBTQ community. I myself am gay and non-binary. I'm 34 now. I came out at 17. And during those 17 years, I've really learned that LGBTQ people, although we have extra rights now and a lot more equality, we still struggle with a lot of mental health conditions. The suicide rates within our community are higher than the national average. And we still experience glass ceilings in the workplace, right? So LGBTQ wellness is about creating both events and fitness and wellness spaces that cater to the community to create safe spaces for them. But also we want to help people grow in their career and personal development. So we're creating content and resources to help people, what we say, heal and grow, right? Heal the mental health and grow as a person and take accountability and take accountability for their lives.
Very passionate about. You've got a lot of passion for doing. It's come to my attention that you actually had a successful career in banking in London before moving on to doing this kind of work. So, what led to the change in career paths?
Yeah, so I was in the global banking industry, whether people liked that or not, and being in the industry really gave me the strength as a human being to be able to set up LGBTQ wellness. However, it wasn't without its obstacles and its issues. So it's a highly aggressive environment. It teaches you a lot. I've had incredible directors and managing directors that have mentored me over the years. However, there was a real part of my soul and personality that wasn't allowed to flourish within the banking industry. Often people would say to me things like, "You're incredible at what you do, but can you just be less you?" And it was like, "Oh, and what do you mean by that? Like, get less gay, less feminine?" And after 14 years, I just got tired of that narrative and that kind of suppression of who I was. And so I guess the 14 years taught me that you can have all the money in the bank, right? But it doesn't equate to happiness. And I think you see this on social media. People say, "Oh, but money can bring you happiness." It can help you achieve a certain element of happiness, but actually, if your soul as a human being isn't allowed to flourish and live your authentic self, then you can never find true happiness, right? So I want to use those skill sets I've learned from the industry, and take my journey to authenticity and try and help LGBTQ people along on that same journey.
Third question is, your organisation recently launched a self-defence class for trans and gender non-conforming people. Can you potentially just go a little bit more in depth about why that was set up and where people can go to find more information about those classes?
Yeah, okay, so sadly it was set up following the murder of Brianna Ghey, the 16-year-old transgender girl that was murdered in Warrington. Our community were absolutely distraught after that. It touched all of us, whether gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, non-binary. We've all been crushed because it was a direct attack on all of us, but in particular the current aggression on transgender and non-binary people is just. I'll share some stats in a moment, actually. So we've had to set up the self-defense class to equip trans and non-binary people with, firstly, there's the physical aspect of self-defense, right? So, I guess in movies, you see it in a way where you go to a self-defense class and all of a sudden you can disarm someone with a knife and give them a karate kick and escape from a threat. That's not the reality, right? It's not. We have to equip people just with being able to escape from a threat, not necessarily try and disarm someone or be able to attack in return, right? But also it's about the mental confidence. So self-defense, what we're teaching is having because you've done the classes, you've got the confidence that when a threat arises, you're able to help manage that override of fight or flight, right? And you're able to help remain a little more stable in the situation, to be able to think pragmatically and clearly on how to escape and get yourself to safety. And if I can, I'd just love to share some stats on hate crimes towards trans people. So in the last, well, let's do sexual orientation first. In Greater Manchester, in the last 12 months, there's been an increase of 23.7% reported hate crime, and I stress the word reported there, reported hate crime towards people for their sexual orientation. So that's gay, lesbian, bisexual, right? Now for transgender and non-binary people, that's an increase of 69.6% reported. And let me tell you, most of us don't report it. So that figure is far higher.
Right, okay. So, where can people find more information?
Oh, yeah, thanks for that. I knew I'd forget something. So there's a few ways. So our website, lgbtqwellness.co, and we have the trans and gender non-conforming class on our homepage there. In addition to that, we're on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok under the same handle, lgbtqwellness.co. And the booking is actually on OutSavvy, which is an LGBTQ-owned ticketing platform. So if they're on OutSavvy, they can also search for us there.
Awesome. We're just going to go for a quick break, and we'll be back where Caden's going to ask some more questions. So stay tuned.
So the first thing I wanted to ask is, you're a trustee of Sparkle, the National Transgender Charity.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a bit more about who Sparkle is and what they do, and a bit about that?
Yeah, so Sparkle is a charity that's, they've been running an event for 20 years. So Sparkle was originally an annual get-together in Manchester for primarily transgender women. And that was kind of, circa 20 years ago. And Sparkle's done incredible work since then. And it's now an annual festival that remains free every year for the transgender, non-binary and gender non-conforming community. And in 2019, obviously before COVID, they'd managed to get up to, I think it was around 22,000 people over the whole weekend. The numbers dropped off a little after COVID, so we're hoping to rebuild again this year and just keep getting that number higher. But it's really important that the annual festival remains free for the community, because we know that transgender and non-binary people just don't get the same employment opportunities as the rest of the lesbian, gay and bisexual community, and experience far greater glass ceilings. So that festival stays free. We use trans and non-binary artists and have a weekend of well-being talks and music. And we also do the Sparkle Ball on a Saturday night. So it's an incredible event, but it has to stay free. So it's really important that we get sponsors in every year to get funding behind that and continue to deliver this really important initiative.
That sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain what each letter of LGBTQIAP+ stands for?
Yeah, we'll be here for a while, so let me try and make this quick, but it's also important we get it right. So it does get asked all the time, and we hear people saying things like, "Oh, not another letter for the alphabet," right? But there's a reason letters keep getting added, because we're a very diverse community. So L is lesbian, okay, lesbian or gay woman. G is gay, so whether that's a gay man, a gay woman, a gay person, G is gay. B is bisexual, okay, we know that bisexual generally that's two genders, so people attracted to two genders. Are you all with me so far? Yeah. Okay, T is transgender. Okay, now you'll notice non-binary isn't in there. So non-binary is generally considered part of the transgender umbrella. So when we talk about transgender, you can have a transgender woman, transgender man, but also people who identify as things like agender, gender fluid, right? So there's a whole set of kind of sub-names under that, or sub-identities. Q is sometimes called questioning and sometimes called queer. So we took the word queer back, and we've now brought that back into our alphabet, if you will. but certainly we also welcome questioning people. I is intersex, and a lot of people don't know this. Intersex is people who they've actually been born with potentially a mix of male and female chromosomes, or male and female genitalia. So intersex people, again, they're I think it's around 1.6% of the population is intersex. It's really important that they're also captured within our community. And then A is asexual and agender, so people who are asexual, not necessarily sexually active. And there's asexual, agender, and aromantic as well. So some people are not romantic. And then the plus. We've got P, haven't we? See, even I forget. P is pansexual and also polysexual. And then the plus is to capture anyone else who we've not thought of, who also needs to be brought into our community. So it's forever growing.
It's quite a lot to remember, isn't it?
There is, yeah.
and finally, can you tell us about where people can join your fitness and wellness events in the Manchester area?
Absolutely, I'd be delighted to. So for those who don't know, we do spin, we do yoga. We do the self-defense classes we've discussed, and we also do pop-up fitness events. Our next one is Thursday the 13th of April at Vibe Studios, by the way, if anyone wants to join us. They can connect with us through our website and all our social media. So that's at lgbtqwellness.co. Website is lgbtqwellness.co. And we also offer socials, pop-up socials, and we'll soon be launching pop-up professional networking too.
Okay, well, thank you. That's been James from the LGBTQ Wellness organisation. Thank you for coming in to answer a few of our questions. Make sure you stay locked into Unity Radio, the real sound of the city.